Good morning. Welcome to Sky Notes. Hey, Lillian.
Hi, and hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. What are we
Happy
talking
New
about,
Year.
Tracy?
Hap-
Oh,
Happy
yay.
New Year, right? It's
Right?
2026.
Welcome to 2026.
That's right. And we're gonna talk about the January 1st chart, and we're gonna look
Uh-huh.
at it from like the capital of the US, the capital of Canada, just a brief chat about that. And then each of us pulled cards for each zodiac sign. So we're gonna go through those and give you little messages for the year ahead. Yeah, I'm
Exciting
excited.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So I saw the funniest thread. Darcy Michael, who's a comedian, and he and his partner have really exploded online. He
Mhm.
posted that all day New Year's Eve, their dog had explosive diarrhea that ended at 11:59 p.m. He's like, it was like the perfect end to
Astrological signifier.
2025. Yes, yes. Let's just blow out all of the shit from 2025 and leave it behind. Right?
Yes,
And I
yes.
just thought, yes, I'm going to connect myself to his dog's energy and leave that.
Yeah, like that prayer of may the things that don't suit me leave with this shit is the perfect prayer.
Yep. Yeah, it was beautiful. So that I took that as my symbol of entering
That's
2026,
fantastic.
leaving 2025 behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're in deep in Capricorn season, as we'll see when we look at those charts. Hey, there's
Yeah.
some massive, intense Capricorn energy to talk about. So, should we just put the charts up and get going?
Let's put it up, and the only thing I'll say while you're putting it up is, I was thinking about the Advent show where we were talking about how the anticipation that basically was heralding the arrival was Capricorn is not returned in kind, I think, by Sagittarius. We were talking about this as we prep for the show. It feels like Sagittarius is trying to snatch Capricorn birthday glory. And so we're here to kind of imbue you guys, let you know you should get all of the celebrating you need. Capricorn, do not let Sagittarius steal that shine.
Exactly right. Okay, so I am going to go into my share screen. There we go. Can you see that okay?
Yes, it's perfect.
Excellent, excellent. So this is let me look, Canada.
Oh,
This is
cool.
from
I can see your
Ottawa.
cursors. Yay.
Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah. So this is so when you look at, a moment in time, this is going to give us some themes for, what's starting January 1st, 2026, and is going to carry us forward into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, Lillian and I looked at both the American and Canadian versions of this, and they're really similar. They're
They're
really,
so
really
close.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change our screen view a little bit here. Let's do this. And then we get to
Here
be
we
there too.
are.
Hey, okay, here we go. And so this is when I'm talking about big Capricorn energy. The Venus and the Sun and Mars are all sitting here very close together at the bottom of the chart.
Yes.
And in Capricorn, in the place of home and country. And when we're talking about the more mundane, like everybody charts, that's more a country thing, right?
Yeah.
And so what are the things that we picked up on yesterday, Lillian? So the sun and moon, I always want to look at what the sun and moon are doing and what phase
Yeah.
they're in, right? Um,
Absolutely.
and especially in mundane, the moon is the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we have the moon is in Gemini, and it is making it's applying to a lovely quincunx to the sun. So the heart of things, the people can't see, right? And so there's this interesting conflict.
Yeah.
No, friction is a
Interesting.
quincunx word, right?
Yeah.
Between the people and their ideologies and beliefs in the ninth house, and in friction with home and country.
And
And
the ruler of the chart sitting right next to the sun in almost partile is like, we can't see the ruler.
yeah,
We can't see what's going on.
yeah. And so in Capricorn, also, it's about the people don't understand the structure anymore. They don't
Right.
understand the foundation that the stuff is built on. you know? And so that struck me pretty much immediately. And there's a duality, the it's in Gemini. We're divided,
Right,
right?
right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love it when the symbolism is just so dead on that you're like, I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely feel it, and I feel that sense, we talked a bit about yesterday how sometimes the motivation for Capricorn can come from fear, right? And survival, not like, I'm afraid of spiders, but like, I need to get my people from this place to this place, and so there's a real sense of gravitas around it. And then that, reliance on the structure of tradition is not, meaningless, right? It's not superficial, even if it feels like it. Whereas that moon, and I can't help but notice the square to the nodes, which in evolutionary astrology either symbolizes that you have become an expert, and so you are coming back with mastery. But even in that condition, you are missing a few elemental pieces to create a coherent picture of the mastery of this moon in Gemini. And from what I remember, you put yourself physically in the position of the moon. So I'm looking in the circle to the moon. And then I turn to the right. And when I turn to the right, that's the node that will move us forward. And so that is Virgo, the south node in Virgo. And Carolyn Casey said recently, and I thought this was splendid, Virgo asks, what is the perfection in this moment? What is the perfection in this time, rather than forcing it or shaping it, right? And so there's a lot of like materially trying to get people through stuff. And then this moon, which I think of as the most easily bored, I think of as related to sort of indigenous cultures. And it's in the house of the sacred visitor. And you just got to wonder, and that sacred visitor cannot see who we are, right?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if, because I'm not as familiar with mundane, so I don't want to mess this up. If the moon is the
No, I like
people,
it.
right? Who are we in this?
Well, and so from the skip step perspective, as
Yeah,
I understand it, because I'm not an evolutionary
that's
astrologer,
another way to put it. Yeah.
but it's like, and the skip step is the sort of the thing that's stopping us from reaching our destiny. Is that a fair
Yeah.
way to put it? It's
I would say
the thing.
it's a regular obstacle on the way to your destiny. Yeah.
Okay. And so here it's the people, the division of the
Ay,
people,
ay,
the
ay.
binary of the people
The
that's getting in the
diversity
way.
of the people,
But
not
and in the beliefs, in
in
the
beliefs,
ideologies and the beliefs,
not
and
in
religion.
actuality.
Let's not forget, there's a problem with religion up here.
But I would like the floor to recognize we are not saying diversity in people or how you love or what you show up with physically or what you can do in the course of a day, week, or month or year. We're saying the belief, the
Yeah,
ideology.
that's
Oof,
right. That's right. That's
oof,
right. The subjective pieces,
wow.
And Gemini, is so the way energetically, the way I feel about Gemini is that it needs information. Gemini needs so much information to feel confident, comfortable in whatever it's doing.
Yes.
And that binary gets worse or is wider, not
Yeah.
worse, but wider, um, until they realize they have enough information.
Right.
And so there's something about fact checking, about getting the right information, about that kind of piece of the
I
story.
like that.
Also, I also feel like Gemini gets painted as two opposites, but
Mm.
to me it's a mirror, right?
Yes.
So it's actually facing itself. And
Yes.
so that's another, I think, a theme here of us facing each other and
It's so
seeing.
beautiful because I'm hearing some Virgo in the Gemini, right? Like not as mixing together, but as a remedy, right? And so if you're being asked to look at a Virgo South Node, that's a natural upwelling of organizational abilities and natural tenacity and ability to look at details, and they both are ruled by Mercury. So it's an interesting little moment there. We're going
Mhm.
to really have to use our minds. And I assume sometimes it'll have to be story and myth. Like at this point, we are creating myth for the future because right now everything's sort of woo, 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 woo,
Right.
unclear. So
And it's interesting because I have a feeling that at this point in time, with this wild divide, that if you actually were to sit and present the same myth to two people on either side of this divide and ask them, what did you get out of that? You would really see where the divide actually is based on the different
interesting.
perceptions, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, I love what you said about the Virgo energy of that, because one of the things that I think Virgo gets criticized for is too many details. But I think sometimes that's a bit of a misperception. Virgo is looking for the right information. So really it wants us to be selective in what
Yes.
we're gathering and the information that we're gathering. And in the end it wants to be concise, right? It wants to be efficient and it wants to be concise. And
Yes.
so that's actually where, as somebody who's a Virgo married to a Gemini,
Yeah.
that is a place where there can be some conflict in communication,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so, this is the thing, that this conflict between the two signs is kind of the thing that we're navigating as a whole right now.
It
Yeah.
really feels like that. Yeah. And, just to touch into, I've been looking at, I'm not trained in feng shui or flying star astrology, but the year of the horse coming up is one where there's going to be a lot of opportunity and a lot of strength. And so there's an entreaty for people to hold on to details, because that's the thing that the horse will let go of, and that will block your success this year. So it's interesting to think about that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it. And then if we want to talk about the phase as well, because
Mhm.
so this
Yes.
is a gibbous moon phase.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of energy in a gibbous moon phase. And it also amplifies the message about, because if you listen to Stephen Forrest and you read what he writes about phases, he says this is the Virgo phase. So now we're
Mm.
getting two messages about being picky,
Detailed, yes.
detailed,
Yeah, let yourself be picky. If somebody
selective,
goes yeah,
selective.
if somebody goes, "I'm not sure I want that," or "Let me think about it," this is the year to go, "You do that. You
Yes, for
you let
sure.
you think about it."
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. But there's an overall friction in a gibbous moon because there's this anticipation and there's a lot of
Yeah,
energy in
yeah,
getting to the full point, right?
yeah.
It's bright, it's energetic. It can create, for people who aren't comfortable with this kind of energy, it can be anxiety inducing a little bit because
Mhm.
it's a bit too energetic for some people who might be down in that more balsamic, dark part of their reality is
Absolutely,
living down
yeah.
there. So this might feel a bit unsafe for some people.
Mm,
We're talking cardinal and mutable, so that is in itself um, a bit energetically kind of create a bit of frantic energy because that
mhm.
cardinal energy wants to go, 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 go,
Yeah,
and mutable is like, okay, but we need to adapt and we need to kind of
right.
see how we need to change it, what needs to be fixed, and so I find that those two energies can kind of forget to stop and take a break and assess,
Right,
right?
right.
And we didn't even notice, I didn't notice this yesterday. There's the only fixed planet. We have Uranus and Pluto fixed. So we're not getting a lot of
Oh,
stability.
yeah, Uranus and Pluto, and the Pluto is kind of we were talking about it yesterday, is like la di da, like wandering into Aquarius, right? Like
Yeah.
the message of Pluto, it's fine with tradition. It wants tradition to be supported. So I just thought that that was a funny thing. And I do
Well,
recall, if I'm not mistaken, I remember wanting to tie that moon and the sun particularly to the first house and kind of looking for where that would land. But I don't think that's necessary, because that South Node kind of offers up all the same things that you would, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. It offers up the kind of preciseness that we will need this year. We don't need it to also be in the first house.
right.
So, yeah.
Right, right. I hadn't put the piece together that the moon's also ruling the midheaven. So when you talked about the ascendant, right, and Venus and the moon not seeing each
Yeah.
other, you've got the outcome and the highest potential and the how we express ourselves part
This
not
this
connecting.
this feels very much like a year we're gonna have to live through, and not make a million predictions about what's coming next. It feels like there's a lot of flow and a lot of uncertainty. And so there's no need to like try to hold on to something that's flying away for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this is, this is about adaptability and about taking action
Yes.
and right action, because a lot of the cardinal energy is in Capricorn, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's going to be a need for discrimination. There's going to be
Mm,
a need to selective was the Virgo word that I was trying to find. So
I
be
do like that.
selective, right?
Yes.
About the
Yeah.
information that you're taking in and the sources
Mm,
that you use, and the people that you believe in. I think even
yes.
just on a personal level, where you're putting your energy. I think community is so important right now. And so being selective about who you're surrounding yourself with is a bit of this story too.
Yeah.
Um, now what else were we looking at?
Well, I
It was
was looking at the sixth house, the Neptune and Saturn conjunct in the Pisces, but I wasn't looking at it from a mundane standpoint. So is the sixth house like, do we have a I don't know what the use of that house is, but what I was saying when I was thinking of it just as the chart and these two functioning together, there in my mind, the sixth house, there's a bit of untying, there's a bit of research, there's a bit of practice, there's a notion of kind of, we're at the end of this cycle and it's so new this when Saturn goes into Aries, when Neptune goes into Aries, it's just phenomenally new. And so the thing that's been surfacing for me a lot through various teachers is you don't have to believe anything right now. Just entertain it. You don't necessarily want to pin everything down because things are so in flux and they're so being born. It's kind of like giving a graduation hat to an infant, the moment it shows up. So it's really okay to think of this year as a process where you're going to learn the outcome rather than invoke the outcome.
right, right, right. Yeah. Well, and what I just want to say to add to the fact
Yeah.
that we're looking at this Neptune and Saturn. So they're about to change signs. So we are
Right.
at a point of just finishing off some stories when it comes to Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in the Pisces, we're looking at, what have we learned about our boundaries, about time, about all of those things and the wonkiness of time since Saturn has gone
Yeah.
into Pisces. And then also the fragility of what our perception of reality,
I would
right,
agree.
with the
Yeah.
Neptune and the Saturn. And
Yeah.
then we were looking at how the Mercury is square the Neptune, Mercury down here in Sagittarius. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of went to information and what kind of information that we are putting out and taking in because of
Yes.
that Mercury ruling the moon in
Yeah.
Gemini, being at the end of Sagittarius
And
and
the south node in Virgo, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then square the Saturn and the Neptune in Pisces. So this is about truth. This is about beliefs. This is about and in conflict with the Pisces stuff, right?
Wow.
Um, Pisces, we talk about from that spiritual sort of misty place, but it's also about that's also about beliefs and
Yeah.
ideologies and
100%. Yeah.
right and judgment is a really big part of the Pisces story.
Let's loop that Jupiter in its exaltation. Like talk about strong over strong over strong over strong. Jupiter is huge on judgment, right? Like rightly so when they are in that position, but wrongly so when they are not.
Yeah. And it's sitting at the very top of the chart. It's being ruled by this moon, right? So that Jupiter can't be ignored. Now, here's the thing though, it's retrograde. So
Right.
that means this is an internal thing.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah,
And I'm going to take that a bit step further because when you've got Jupiter retrograde in your birth chart, it's part of that story is not feeling like your beliefs and ideologies fit with your cohort
right.
because often our cohort is going to share a Jupiter sign with us
Yeah.
because it's a whole year, right? And so you're at least part of your cohort is going to be
Yeah.
in that sign. And so to me, when I look at this in the grander sense of the story, this is about individually looking inside and there's an adjustment with retrograde. How are your beliefs still the same as they were?
Right.
Right? Are they still serving you? And
Right.
so this is a really important ideology and beliefs checkpoint for people
Right.
when we see Jupiter where it is in this chart. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I really do. It makes me think, like, from the moment you said inward, and as I listened to the rest of that process, I couldn't help but notice the Chiron in the seventh, and about, there are so many juxtapositions here of self and other, self and other, self and belonging, self and family, self and lover, right? Where there's distance, or there's going to be maybe an unexpected experience that makes you get into that position where you're questioning your beliefs. But what also might happen is you might just hold on to them, saddle up, and ride out and get on your 100th soapbox, with that Mercury in the third house, and tell people what's going on. And the thing about what I heard from the flying star thing is arguments could lead to litigation this year. And I thought that was I had never heard such a funny, I mean, it's not funny, right? But there are countries that are not litigious, you know what I mean? And so I'm aware of that as I say this. So it stays in the hypothetical. But yeah, don't fight with people this year. We're all kind of
Mhm.
armed with stuff we don't know about. And you don't
Right.
want somebody to bring out a bazooka while you're asking them, did you give me salt or sugar when I asked for a cup of sugar?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, and we talked a little bit yesterday about that Jupiter squaring the Chiron and being something about that the collective versus the individual kind of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Because Chiron and Aries, anybody who's born in that latchkey generation knows
Yeah.
their Chiron and Aries very well. Is often one of the wounds or one of the signatures of Chiron and Aries is resilience, it is independence. What did I call it? Toxic independence, toxic
Yes.
self-reliance. That
That
was
was it.
the word that I came up with for Chiron and Aries. But there's also a big theme right now with people feeling lonely and alone. And so I feel like one of the signatures here with Jupiter having that square to Chiron is here in the seventh house. If
Yeah.
people don't know, um, is the Jupiter up there with the beliefs and ideas that we've already mentioned square the Chiron. Maybe that assessment of beliefs and ideals is going to need to be examined to see
Right.
how is having an impact on your relationships and how you're feeling, whether it's alone or supported or so on.
Wow.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, and you brought up that this is very much about other people. Most of the things in this chart are sitting on that half of the chart. If you don't know, this dividing line here, east and west, this side of the chart is our self. It's collective at the top, but it's very self in the bottom. And
Yeah.
the other half is our one-to-one
Yeah.
relationships, moving into more community when we get up to the top. So this is very much about interacting with people and how our beliefs and our information and our message, how that's impacting our relationships with other people.
It's fascinating. It could be so nourishing. I don't know. I had a really nourishing break. It was unusual, but it was quite, so peaceful and replete. I loved it. But I do feel the pull to traditions. I'm kind of trying to get to how I experience this chart, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
if I were to look at this and prepare for my day or prepare for this time, I would think it's great to do traditions. That's a great thing to do. Don't neglect yourself. And by self, we don't mean just your other friends. We actually mean you. And so make sure you're getting time alone to kind of cheer yourself on, big yourself up. And then I find it really realistic that there are challenging things in the chart, even just for the new year, because it feels like we're not done with challenging times. And that piece where the process will reveal the answers, for me, that's super hard to get used to because I have ADHD. And if it's not here right now, it doesn't exist. But as I've learned to incorporate that, waiting to see when something ripens, I suppose is my favorite way to think about it. I can do that. I can wait for something to ripen.
Right.
So, but that vibe is in this chart.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know what we don't I don't know the word that I want, but without the fixity, I guess is
Yes.
my point. Without the fixity, it's actually hard to get traction with things, right? Things
Yes.
don't gain permanence
Right.
without some fixity in the chart. Now, so there's a benefit in having the squares because they can provide, once the
Yes.
issues are dealt with, can provide some permanence. But this is very much a conflict or things not going to plan and having to adjust and be flexible. And
Yeah.
then again, and then again, like this is so nobody's going to be allowed to get too
Right.
comfortable this year. This is a
Yeah.
time of transition and change.
Yeah.
And so anybody who's really fixed is probably going to be quite challenged, just in the sense that not feeling like they can plant their feet,
100%,
right?
100%, and I just think back to when Uranus, well, I mean, right now it's in Taurus, right? I just think, like, this is the jarring energy that will be this year,
Right.
if you think about it as a birth, then you're like, yeah, everybody's checking to see if they win the bet of when the baby comes out, and is mama okay, and how's everybody doing, and does anyone need to eat? It's we're kinda all getting up, but we don't have the same message at all.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, and the thing that is actually beautiful in terms of, like, watching cycles unfold over a long period of time, Uranus is at the end of Taurus,
Right.
and at the beginning of Taurus, like, I just know just from my client work, Tauruses and a lot of Tauruses, a lot of Scorpios, and then some Leos and Aquarius, those are the 4 fixed signs, could feel that jarring Uranus energy shift into Taurus and all like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know why, but I need an astrology session. I need to know what's
Right,
coming," right?
right, right,
Um, because it was, Uranus is in there to shake up everything, and
right,
fix doesn't like being
and to
shaken up.
know that that chaos is not coming from you, but from a transit that's trying to show you something, it puts it into a perspective where you can grab onto it and you can understand what's going on.
Yes, yeah. So we're at the end of that cycle, and this
Right.
year being, like, giving you the energy or the messages to continue. You're at the end of this shakeup.
There's
So
some genius coming, right? Yeah,
yeah,
just to get into the joy of it all, like, Uranus in Taurus was really challenging us in our sweetest, coziest places. That's how I like to think when I think about happy things. And now it's saying, "What do you wanna learn? What do you wanna do? What do you wanna pick up? I'm coming
yeah,
through."
yeah,
Kind of
absolutely.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're mutable,
Right,
full
very.
disclosure. Neither one of us is
The
super
acceptance of that is based entirely on my mutable chart. Now you know.
I mean, we have to disclose, right? Like what,
You're right. You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and we'll talk
Totally
more
fair.
about that next week when we actually go
Right.
into the specific sort of transits and things for what's coming.
That's gonna
Um,
be fun.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, nobody gets off scot-free
Scot-free.
because Uranus
There's
is
this
gonna go into Gemini, and now the mutables are gonna have to deal
Here
with
we
what Uranus
go.
has to bring, right?
Yeah, I agree. I love it. It feels very, I don't know, on brand for 2026. This feels right.
This chart, yeah, absolutely. And I would say the one thing to consider for people is that with that energy in Capricorn at the bottom, and Pluto, sitting in the same house, not conjunct the planets, but in the same house, and quincunxes as well. There are some lessons in,
Yes.
and there are consequences. Capricorn likes consequences, and so
Yes.
does Jupiter. So
Yeah.
between those two strong energies in this chart, just whatever you choose to move forward with, just consider what the consequences might be, and don't let them surprise you.
I
Yeah?
love that. So make sure it's kind of in alignment, right? If you're still working on somebody else's project because you're freaked out to do your own, call yourself back because you really want it to mean something when you associate yourself with these commitments. That's my vibe. I love this. We can do this all
We
the
could do
time,
this for hours and hours and hours
right?
and hours. Yes, for sure. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for sure. This wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, just based on, where we're at socially.
Yeah, right, right. If this was, let's say if this was, what is it, 2012, 2010, I would be like, okay, guys, so anyway, I want you to relax this year. Maybe stay away from your people, come back next year. But this time it's like, well,
We're
now that
already
we're
in
in it.
it. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So this feels very much like problem solving, cleaning stuff up, taking
Yes,
responsibility for how you have impacted this situation,
I
right?
agree.
And adjust and perfect and do the things that are going to make your life better in
Yeah,
a positive way, not
yeah,
out of fear and protection.
yeah. And there's more coming. I mean, I feel like I could go on and on and on and on, but next week we're going to do looking forward, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe we should skip to the by the sign, pick a card for a sign.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're at the
Yay!
half-hour mark,
I
so
love it.
yay. Okay, so do you wanna go first or do you want me to go first?
Um, gosh, I would like you to go first.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So
Yeah.
I'll just say I'll show you. This is the Oracle of Gaia's Forest. If you can see it. Oh, it's backwards, but yeah. I got this deck for my birthday and I'm madly in love with it. Um, because I love the way it's designed. So the
Uh-huh.
book has each card, there's a theme word, keyword, which I'll provide. It also gives you like a straight yes or no answer. Like
I
it's
love
super
that.
Virgo in the way it's
Yeah.
organized. So I really love it. And full disclosure, I pulled yesterday because I wanted to sit in a grounded meditation and not be frantic with going on live air. So these were chosen yesterday. So Aries, I'll show you the card. It's the Temple. Can we see it?
Beautiful.
I know,
Gorgeous.
right? They're so pretty. And the keyword for this card and for Aries is peace, which I found ironic. So
Isn't
the
that
temple is the place of sacred rituals. It embodies the practice of spiritual traditions and sacred teachings, and it's about the space where you find your inner peace. Okay.
mm,
So, pulling the temple for 2026, it's about your connections with people. And the card says, let the peaceful place inside guide you to deep and authentic connections.
ooh,
Authentic is a big keyword for 2026.
nice.
I've just seen it come up in so many places. Look for souls who share your values and those who can inspire you on your journey this year and beyond. So be ready to share what you know and love with people who actually want to receive it.
Ah,
That
I
was
love it.
Aries. Your turn.
Mine is the handle deck. Let me grab that. And he did. I don't have everyone's names correctly, and I just have. Sorry, he has this cool little Egyptian eye, and what he did, he's an artist, obviously. So he used the same linen to create these giant pieces. So here's the Two of Cups. Oopsies. And
Beautiful.
he uses the I Ching over here. He uses Hebrew. He reaches out to other cultures, and the books that he calls on. What? Gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm blanking on it. The
It'll
Tree
come.
of Life. The Tree of Life. The Jewish.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Can't remember it. Sorry. Blanking out. Ace of Stones. So the
Mhm.
Ace of Discs. And how I like what I heard from you and how it mixes with this is that peace, right? And so what I'm hearing is there's something to nourish you. There's resources that you can have, Aries, this year that maybe you wouldn't have. And let's make the assumption that that could be because everybody else is going to be impulsive and spontaneous because they can't help but be. And so in context, maybe that looks like Aries got some leadership skills and gets a little props for the stuff they do well. But I like the earth receives you, and then the temple is asking you to help out with people. So
And be authentic and go
and
within. Don't
that's
look at
it.
it from outside yourself. Look at it from within
And
you.
then because there's so much within.
Yep.
All
I
right.
love it. Oh my
I
gosh,
feel
I like how those two work together.
yeah.
Okay, so our second card is for Taurus, and the card is the Mirror.
Mm.
And so the key word here is illusion
Oof.
for Taurus. The mirror is a gateway to parallel worlds and realities. It can be used as a tool to connect with higher entities or energies, explore higher planes of consciousness to find esoteric guidance. This card invites you on a journey to uncover hidden truths and divine wisdom. So in 2026, the mirror is going to challenge Tauruses to face certain parts of themselves. And in this situation, it's inviting you to open up to looking deep inside and have the courage to look beyond your fears. That's interesting based on what we just said about fixed
Yeah.
minds, right? Use the mirror as a tool for honest, non judgmental reflection so you can see your shadows and transform them into light. That's the message for Taurus for 2026.
That's
Go
beautiful.
within. In times of difficulty, go within.
Well, I genuinely whizzed through these, and I have got the pictures now. I was not exhibiting
Beautiful. Oh my
Tracy's
gosh, those
discipline.
cards are gorgeous.
They're stunning, and I feel bad. Next time I will get static images and we can plop them in. But
Yeah.
you can see it's Krishna. You can see that it's the Son of Wands in the east. And so there's a focus on the rich, lush sort of court mythology of India, and there's music involved. And so the correlate in like the Rider-Waite deck is the Prince of I hit you staff, the Prince of Staffs. And so it's a lot of energy, but it's to be used creatively. And so there's an invitation to do that. And with court cards, I usually think there's somebody coming. So with yours, with illusion, I sort of wonder if that's talking about Uranus maybe, and how,
Ooh.
Uranus comes in and then goes, and the illusion is your expectation that it'll stay.
Well, and I'm gonna take that. So if we think about what I
Please.
said about the moon in Gemini and
Yes.
it being a mirror and that being a theme this year, right?
Right.
And so if they're feeling like they want to pick a side, pick a place to maybe plant themselves,
Yeah.
it's like use the mirror to
Yes.
decide if that is really where you want to
Isn't
plant the
that
flag.
good? Isn't that
Yeah.
good? And I would also add that be positive. This year of all years, don't be artificial. I love the authenticity.
Yeah.
But you have got to come up with a better thing than what we're coming up with now. So
Yeah.
pin your hopes on something that aligns with your values and go.
And what's really interesting is that so gratitude and Jupiter have a big
Oof.
connection, and the fact that Jupiter was sitting at the top of that chart
Yeah.
says something. But gratitude, the need for gratitude and that kind of being your superpower for the year came up in a few of these, which I
Yeah.
thought was interesting, and learning to be grateful for what you actually have.
Right.
So I really like what you just said about that
Yeah.
for Taurus. Um, okay, so now for Gemini, I
Mhm.
pulled the Priestess. Isn't she gorgeous?
Oh, I love those
I
cards.
do love these cards so much.
Yeah.
And I just saw them on Facebook and was like, "Oh, that'd be a good birthday present."
Yay.
And I love them. So the priestess's key word for Gemini is forgiveness.
Ah,
The priestess is about the balance between feminine and masculine polarities, between shadow and light. She symbolizes inner and outer harmony. Tying together the spiritual and rational, she invites you to find a deeper balance and helps you find a path to holistic equilibrium. So trust in divine timing
mhm.
and be patient. I know
Yes.
that's not
It's such
the
a good one, though.
mercurials of us do not have a lot of that. So patience. Everything will unfold at the perfect time and according to the larger plan. Connect with your intuition and trust your emotions and creativity. So I laughed that this was the Gemini stuck in your head, right sign that's
Yeah.
getting no, trust your intuition, go within, be
Well,
creative, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So what
but
did you
here,
pull for Gemini?
this is, illusions, the 7 of Cups. And so the admonition here is always to, even if 6 of the cups are reversed, you know, 1 is upright. And
Oh,
so
nice.
your whole goal is to not be sucked in by the illusion of loss. And so that was interesting based on the previous card, but also that thing of this admonition to go inward. I love that this Gemini priestess is the ruler of the exalted Jupiter, right? I
Yeah.
love that kind of juicy vibe. And
Yeah.
so when I think of the illusion, I think a lot of what we're going to see, this goes to you saying be selective, is not going to be good for your digestion, let's say. And so
Mm.
it's not to ignore anything, but work to your capacity and then rest. So, because it's trying. But I like that it said go inward. And the reason why is because outward may be too confusing, look like
Well,
too much loss.
and what's really interesting about the combination of the story, right? So if we think
Yeah.
about the chart, the ruler of Gemini is that Mercury in Sagittarius,
Right.
um, right? And so that Mercury is not is not at its best in
Right.
Sag, especially if we're talking about the sign of rulership, which is Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is going to have everything sort of off kilter, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And so when you think about the don't get too caught up in the shiny things,
Right.
right? But then also forgiveness. Forgive yourself if you get it
Yes.
wrong. Forgive yourself if you saw it from the perspective that
That's
doesn't
beautiful.
align with what you want. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah, I really love that.
That's beautiful.
This is way more fun than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, also the Jupiter ruling the Sag Mercury is quite a trick. So maybe grandmama Gemini might have a different relationship with grandchild Mercury.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
interesting.
interesting.
Wow. Okay, so now we have Cancer.
Yes,
So the beautiful Cancers out there,
that's right.
I drew, I didn't pick it.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Night Shepherd.
Beautiful.
I know, I love these cards.
My
And
goodness.
the keyword for Night Shepherd is trial. So
Ah,
the Night Shepherd offers guidance during difficult times, like a compassionate shepherd. He
mm,
watches over you and is there with you through life's trials. He reminds you that even in the darkest moments, you are never truly alone. So in times, and that's interesting if you think about Chiron being square, that loneliness that can happen with Chiron and Aries being square the Cancer people. I thought that was interesting. Um, in times of doubt or darkness, take time to connect with your inner self and listen to the subtle messages being sent. This transitional time can be valuable, it can give valuable opportunities to explore your own depths and discover parts of yourself you haven't yet explored. So there's a newness and something new here for Cancer. And I actually the neat thing with this is where it is in the chart that we talked about. What did you pick? We'll talk more about
well,
that.
you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
The card I picked is the universe,
Oh wow.
and the
Nice.
universe in the rider deck is judgment. Dun dun dun. So there's a trial coming. There's a trial coming, and with Jupiter being exalted in Cancer, the question is Jupiter running the trial, or is Jupiter subjected to the trial?
Mm.
And either way, it's
Mm.
going to be tough. But that's so fascinating, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like,
wild. Yes.
okay, Cancer. So taking it back away from like the world, let's talk about for someone. So
Mm.
here Jupiter's been hanging out, and now you feel full. So if you need to rest or take a break, go ahead and do that. It's not going to be there forever, but
Yeah.
there's a lot coming. And so you don't have to eat it all at once. How do you eat an
Yes.
elephant? A piece at a time, bite at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the thing that's kind of, I don't know, it is interesting to me that Jupiter in Cancer has been a bit of a troublemaker.
Right.
And so with it being retrograde right now in that chart, there is a trial when it comes to the Jupiter and Cancer piece of so you have to be accountable for all of the shenanigans that came before,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of
Yeah.
what's happening with that Jupiter in Cancer.
I
And
like
so
that.
just on a personal level for Cancer people, where do you fit in that?
Yeah.
right? And is there anything you need to forgive yourself for? Is there anything you need to take
I like that.
responsibility for? And I feel like this is likely to be something that's happening on the judgment, or the trial is something that's happening inside.
I love that. So I like the idea of a revision of your own judgments and how heartbreaking that is. You feel like you're leaving people behind, or you're not able to stay in the same community. So that may be happening. But it's kind of that that intellectual loss of like, oh, I thought I'd have these beliefs forever. And like you're saying, compassion, because you don't want to crap all over yourself. Whatever we do is whatever we do. And my God, we're made of meat. So there's really not like a moral imperative for you to glow up the planet, but it feels good. So I think it may be something like that. I wonder about that, because I
Nice.
certainly have been going through that, and I have a Cancer moon. But
Okay.
yeah, who knows?
The other thing that's interesting, if we look at it just from like the transiting point of view, and
Yes,
Would be conjunct somebody who is born with a Cancer sun, Jupiter
yes,
would come and join your sun at some point. So for those who are earlier than
yeah,
where it is right now,
yeah.
which is like, yeah, the first 2/3 of the sign essentially.
Right.
If there's any time when Jupiter came and maybe helped you feel a bit more judgy, or have stronger opinions than you normally do, and it didn't go well, like those kind of Jupiterian things that can happen
Oh,
when it
you
comes
can
and sits
forgive
on your
yourself.
sun,
Yeah.
this is now the time where it's like you might have to account for some of that.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
and it starts to make me think of like the jubilees and the finishing your debt that
Oh,
happens
okay.
sometimes at the end of the year. So it can
Nice.
kind of be like that, but more gentle. But I
Yeah.
thought that was a trip. Both of us have trial
Right.
and judgment. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would add, just a piece of with the stuff that's sitting all in Capricorn, whenever we've got signs opposing each other, there's a need for objectivity, or a gift of objectivity. It can go either way, actually.
Right.
So in those moments of clarity and objectivity, those are your moments. Those are your moments to see what's really going on.
Yeah. And we'll have
Yeah.
more. We'll have more throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure.
That one's really interesting. And we give
Yeah.
you a big hug, Cancer, and you're
Yes.
perfectly fine.
And Jupiter mid-year is gonna shift into Leo, and so, like, the first half of year and the second half are gonna look pretty different for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Leos. Leos. This I love this one for Leo. So the
Mm.
card is the Lamb,
Mm.
which seems so counter to Leo.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's so cool, is the, keyword is kindness.
Oh.
Yeah, and Leos, when they're in that generous manifestation of Leo, can be the one of the kindest signs when
Oh,
they're
yeah.
operating from there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So the lamb is a symbol of innocence and purity. It
Mm.
represents gentleness and vulnerability, bringing out qualities of innocence and incorruptibility.
Oof.
The lamb is often seen as a symbol of protection, offering a positive presence guiding you on your path. So it reminds Leos of the importance of having compassion towards others, showing gentleness and kindness in your interactions, and suggests a period of renewal for those who seize the opportunities that are put in front of them.
Woof. That's fun. That's
Right?
really fun.
I
Yeah.
like it. Like it. Again, Leo isn't supported by like there's not that fixed, right? So maybe the mutability that Leo needs to take on is in that, being more gentle, more kind, being
Well,
more
it's so interesting because the flow, like, I think about flow a lot, right? So flow for the year, and I think about the natural flow that Leo has, that is their God-given right of bringing their authentic self out to shine. And in a way, I wonder, will they be the ones who do that the best this year? And so the kindness is not to make fun of the rest of us as we try to figure out how to fill ourselves with that same good energy. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, and sometimes for Leo specifically, kindness is in letting themselves shine. If it's not overshining and overpowering somebody else,
I agree. I
right?
agree 100%. And I can't put my hands on the card for Leo, but this is the one that joins with Virgo in an interesting way. So the Mother of Swords in the South. And so again, there's this emphasis on creativity. And I'll show you the one that's Virgo card. I'm showing it because I want to show the family, not to give a sneak peek, but it's Radha. So stunning. And so, yeah, so it's sort of like the ability to create culture and the ability to flow with, lineage, a bit of lineage. And so I like that idea along with what you're saying.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we have a chat. Lori says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Lori.
Happy New Year, Lori.
Our Virgo friend. She
Good
was
to
agreeing with
see
something.
you.
Sorry, I missed that.
I love that she's chatting right now while we're getting ready to talk about Virgo.
Exactly. It's perfect. Yeah, I liked the Leo message because it said to me, lean into your purring kitty side and not into your roaring, standing on the hilltop, chest outside.
Yeah.
There are gifts and rewards in that gentler piece of you. So,
Yeah.
and the creativity.
You still can shine. You still will shine.
Absolutely.
And it's the mama, it's the mother, it's the queen. So it's not you're not going to have to ask somebody to shine.
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah, absolutely. So Virgo, hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Lori, I was excited about this. I don't know if you're going to be excited about this. And I laughed just because of some of the conversations Lillian and I had yesterday. So the coin. 33. I loved it. Was the only master number card that I chose. So, which master number meaning two of the same number, creating another number. And so the key word for it is money. No surprise. The coin evokes material value, exchange, and prosperity. It represents the symbol of the decisions you make and your financial choices. It's also a sign of luck and destiny. It'll challenge your ethics and principles as you navigate this area of your life.
Wow.
The coin urges you to seek harmony between the material and spiritual. Finding this balance is a priority this year. It encourages you to assess your choices and options, practice gratitude for what you already have in your life, and align your financial values and maintain a positive visualization of future abundance.
Oh,
isn't that hysterical after what we talked about yesterday?
It's so fun because, I do feel like the earth signs are just dominating. You know what I mean? Like they're knocking it out of the park. And of course, I just showed you all this. But again, Radha, the daughter of Wands in the East. And so she lives in comfort. So she knows what the steps are to care for herself. I think of Lily Tomlin in Death Becomes Her, or no, sorry, wrong movie, All of Me, where she had, I can't remember the name of the wealthy woman, but she had them bring in with security guards these expensive jewels because she was playing a very rich woman. And Lily Tomlin, of course, is Virgo. And the producer said she couldn't do it. The director said she couldn't do it. And so she just paid for it herself. She wanted the quality and she knew what it was. So it's a sense that knowledge is part of this process. And getting to that comfort is not superficial. It's part of a cultured experience.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yay.
Yeah.
And so, and Lori says, she says, hooray.
Yeah.
I said the same thing when I drew a Lori.
Coin.
It was so weird just because of what Lillian and I were talking about yesterday. Yeah. So now Libras. We are looking at the black cat.
Ooh.
I know. I love it.
Sexy, fun.
So this is fascinating. The key word for the black cat is duality.
Oh.
It's associated with mystery and magic. It embodies the balance between light and dark. And that's just so funny because the balance is always a word that gets stuck on Libra.
Yeah.
It represents duality and invites you to explore the different parts of yourself and how that works in your existence. It's known for its ability to adapt to any situation. The black cat is asking you to pay attention to your instincts and emotions and reminds you that your sensitivity is a strength, and you should listen to your feelings. It advises you to remain agile and adaptable to life circumstances to avoid pitfalls and dangers along your path. What struck me was that both the air signs so far gotta trust your feelings and intuition, and air signs like to live in their brain. So the message for air signs is definitely about, and the timing is wild because one of the things we'll talk about next week, but with the changes in the outer planets, the air signs and the fire signs are likely to be really overstimulated or
Yeah.
have moments of being quite overstimulated. And so this is such perfect, like, get out of your head, trust some other things because this is going to be so busy
Yeah.
that the other things are gonna be much more reliable. Your feelings and your intuition are gonna be way more reliable
That's
moving forward.
lovely. That is lovely.
What
And
did
it is supported by the card that I picked, the Ace of Swords, right? So the initiation of intellectual quality, the creation of duality, right? So the one is available here, and it also suggests the birth that we were talking about earlier, the birth of something so new. You don't want to pin your ideas on it. You want to be open to observe it in real time. And so, similarly to what we were talking about with going inside and having resources, this is going inside. And if you do need your intellectual resources, just remember they're brand spanking new. You know, there's so many and they're so plentiful. Later, you can probably really use this. But for now, I feel like it's balancing duality on the head of a single point.
Well, and for some reason, while you were talking about the
Yeah,
the Ace of Swords, what they're not called swords in there, are they?
they are called swords in this
Oh,
one. Yeah,
okay.
cups and swords, I guess, are the
Are
same
the
as
same?
rider.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ace of Swords here, there's, because it's singular, right?
Yes,
And they're such powerful, the aces are so powerful, but that singular energy of the sword, it's like be selective about the things that you let occupying your brain.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's something that was like, you need to say that out loud.
yeah, I love it.
So
All right.
so I did. Okay, so now our next card is for Scorpio, and,
Yes.
so for Scorpio, I pulled the Celtic cross.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous in here, yeah.
Wow.
And the key word for the Celtic cross is harmony. Harmony.
Hmm.
So, Celtic cross is composed of a central cross surrounded by a circle. It symbolizes the fundamental elements of nature: earth, air, fire, and water, as well as four
Pardon me.
cardinal points. It represents the harmony and balance between these essential elements. Dive deep into your soul and listen to the call of your true nature. Ancient Celtic energies are guiding you towards discovering gifts, talents, and hidden potential. This year, let the sacred connection inspire and guide you towards your life's mission. So there's a very strong message of purpose here, of bringing all the pieces together, not leaning too hard. And this to me aligns with what we were talking about fixed signs
Yeah,
and not getting too planted in one place. It's about
right.
bringing things together. And once you're able to do that, you can start to see what that path starts looking like as you're moving forward. So there is this piece of flexibility in here, this little piece of, bringing it all together, but also making sure that you're allowing for the pieces of yourself that maybe you don't allow to be seen or that you tend to put in a corner, right? It's time to bring those all together.
Pardon
Yeah.
me.
What did you get for Scorpio?
Daughter of Swords,
Okay.
the South. And so that, to me, pardon me, I'm going to cough one more time, but I'll do it
Okay.
quietly. I just get so excited. So, the intellectual stuff we were talking about with the aces is now manifest into a person. I like the idea of it being, the daughter is usually the knight or the page, and so it's not the ruler, it's somebody who has to navigate, to negotiate, and that describes a smaller space. So I think
Okay.
it's consistent with what you're talking about. And I like where the swords are landing. Scorpio is can mimic intellect with a cold emotion, but this is asking to actually use your intellect.
Hmm. Well, and we are seeing a really strong theme between the two of us and the cards that we've pulled, asking all the signs to do it differently than they
Yes.
normally would, to
Yeah.
not rely on your old patterns.
Right.
And that's what we saw in the chart. Like it's really consistent
Yeah.
that we're going to need to use either things that we haven't used in a long time or things that we've been afraid to use in terms of what our gifts and skills and talents are.
Yeah.
So now we've got Sagittarius. Woohoo! Sagittarius, I drew the rose,
How gorgeous.
right? And the
Yay.
rose's keyword is love.
Mm,
This card symbolizes love and passion and evokes intense and romantic feelings. It embodies the purity of innocence and represents growth and blossoming,
mm,
reminding you that every individual has the potential to fulfill their destiny.
mm, mm.
In 2026, you're being asked to show gentleness and compassion.
Wow.
Again, another fire sign. So
Nice. Yeah,
interesting.
gentle.
The rose, and I know I had to laugh. You know, it's Sag. So the rose encourages you to be kind to others and yourself, practice compassion, and approach your daily interactions with kindness. Find balance between your different responsibilities and life areas. I thought that was
Mm,
based on what we talked about yesterday, that was fairly pertinent. And
absolutely.
make sure to give time to the most important aspects of your life.
Mm, yeah, that sounds right. I got the Wheel of Fortune.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because the card is, I mean, the planet is Jupiter, actually. And the handle deck is so gorgeous. I'm not doing it any justice. There are so many descriptors that they use, but I wanted to use my intuition. So to me, it is stunning to think of the Wheel of Fortune, which brings an element of luck into everything, but also brings so much potential for opportunity. And when you were saying about balance, is still really important when you're dealing with luck. There's no difference in behavior whether you're, cascaded upon with luck or diligently carry out your work to the end of its conclusion. So I kind of like that because it to me there's also an echo of like, we get it, we get who you really are. Here's your Wheel of Fortune Jupiter moment, but like, keep in mind that has serious consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like with the card with the love piece, it's like
Yes, love, yes.
in moments of questioning which direction, what to act on, what to, where to go, even in decisions that you're making and or of opinions you're
Yeah,
forming, right? Go from the place of love,
yes,
right? Be balanced, look at both
yes,
sides, and those two things will help you make better decisions throughout the year.
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll take it.
cool. I love it.
I'll take it.
Now, a Capricorn,
Yeah.
I drew the
Mhm.
well.
Oh,
I know
nice.
these cards, we are not getting affiliate money for these
I
cards.
know.
Just
This
really
is
love them,
We
just so
just
you
love
know.
it. Yeah.
So the well. So for Capricorn, the keyword is solitude.
Oh, wow.
And all that Capricorn was down at the bottom of the chart in the
And
most
family,
solitude,
family, family,
right?
family.
The well is a source of water that nourishes and purifies both body and spirit.
Mm,
It's associated with wisdom and knowledge, embodying the quest for truth and answers to life's questions.
mm,
It's also a symbol of retreat and inner reflection. The well reminds you that you must overcome your fears to be able to make progress. Dive
mhm,
into the dark waters of your fears and let them dissolve so you can grow and thrive. Oh, that's so poignant to the Saturn and Pisces piece,
yeah,
right? Saturn ruling Capricorn, and it's in Pisces right now. The well also indicates that you have access to an infinite source of abundance and resources within you, not
mhm.
without you. They're
Wow.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the card I picked for Capricorn is the Father of Swords in the South, so the Egyptian theme. Again, the intellect. And this character, a lot of the sword characters, they're very accustomed to being in charge. They have the stank of authority is all over them. And so it may be that the Capricorns will be able to sit back into their authority in this time, and that this is the father, right? So it shows the relationship amongst the family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
And again, go within, right? And it's so funny
Absolutely.
because these cards are the ones that are being told to look within tend to look without,
Yeah.
in a lot of the cases. So, it don't rely for Capricorn. One of the things that is coming to me is to go within as opposed to just being resilient and keep going,
Right.
which is can be a tendency of Capricorn
Yeah.
energy, right?
Yeah. And all the earth signs, right? And
Right.
even the fixed signs to just shove it down. There,
Right.
there seems to be a universal request for people to pay attention.
Yes, 100% across
Yeah,
the board for sure. And so you pulled an intellect card for an earth sign.
exactly.
Like everybody is being asked to do it differently.
Yes,
Period.
exactly,
Your
exactly.
instincts, your old instincts are no longer serving you, is the message that I have picked up through this whole thing.
They must transform. They must rot,
Oh, yeah, down at the
and then
bottom.
we figure out what they do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
Wild.
in this, for what the last thing I'm gonna say for to Capricorns is, if your instinct is to just keep doing stuff, that physical movement of doing stuff, th Lillian's card is asking you to let your mind be busy for a while instead
Yeah.
of doing, maybe.
And I think it's a nice sort of alley-oop. Go inside, guess what's in there? You got a good brain there, so check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Give
love
it
it,
some time. Yeah.
love it.
Different. Different.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So then for Aquarius, I drew the butterfly.
Stunning and accurate.
And the key word for Aquarius is evolution.
Yes.
So this is a powerful and inspiring representation of transformation and personal evolution. It vividly highlights your potential and shows you that you have the innate ability to reinvent yourself at any moment. It gently engages you in a rewarding journey of personal growth. For 2026, the butterfly is reminding Aquarius that your personal evolution is unique and you have your own pace. Don't compare yourself to others and listen to your inner voice to guide your choices and actions.
I love it.
Practice gratitude for life's experiences. See, that comes
Yeah.
up a lot. And find wonder in the small things of daily life.
Yeah.
This will help you stay in a state of appreciation and joy.
Isn't that something?
Love it.
I came up with dun 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 alchemy, which is the temperance card,
Okay.
which is
Beautiful.
normally the card for Sagittarius. And so we've got another different kind of vibe, but it is a major arcana card. So alchemy, they recommend not reaching the extreme of every point, that there is a mixture you're looking for. And so you're assessing it, that you may shift the ratio, year over year of what it is. So maybe a little more gratitude, maybe it's saying, because you're going through so much change, let it take the time it takes and let it take the process it takes. But the regular admonishment is, you don't have to be extreme to accomplish this. The alchemy is coming. And of course, the historic reference is to make gold out of anything. And so the idea is you're refining what you are doing in this so that you become your own sort of treasure.
Right. Well, and again, the fixed sign being told that it needs to be using all of everything and not
That's
just
kind of a
sticking
lot.
to
That's a
one
lot of
place.
change for Aquarius in 1 year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and all the fixed signs are
Yes,
being
and all the
all of
fixed
them.
signs,
Don't
absolutely.
don't plant yourself in one place
Yeah,
because
you are being born.
yeah, yeah, it's time to bring in new pieces and become varied. Varied is the word that I want.
Yes,
Yeah, I love it. And flexibility is a big message too that we're seeing in all of this stuff that we looked at.
that's right.
Okay, so Pisces, last but
Woo!
definitely not least.
Thanks for waiting, Pisces, we
For
love you.
Pisces, I drew the deer.
So
He's
stunning.
gorgeous. Yeah, it's a great picture. Great image. And the key word is intuition. So funny. This card is associated with grace, beauty, and nobility. It represents quiet strength and elegance and a connection to nature. The deer has great sensitivity and deep intuition, and it embodies inner strength, vigilance, and receptiveness to the subtle messages of the universe.
Wow.
This year, the deer will inspire you to draw on your inner resources to show resilience in the face of challenges and to find the strength to rise again after hardships. It encourages you to find balance between action and receptivity and to be attentive to the signs and opportunities that arise around you.
I love it.
So, if you're a Pisces who tends to be somebody who looks outside themselves,
Mm,
this is asking you to go in. If you're a Pisces who's already working in your intuition and really relying on your intuition, this is asking you for some balance here. Take some action.
I like
Don't
it.
just feel the feeling. Do something about it.
I
Right.
like it. Yeah.
So I love that it is intuition. When Pisces, you think, oh, that's a natural fit. But there, here it's like you have more gifts
Right.
too.
There's
So if
something
you're
else. Yeah.
Yes. So if you're not working in your intuition, it's time to develop it. It's time to go there and trust your gut and listen to it.
Look for where the lack is, sort of.
Right. Right. Yeah.
When I thought of that deer, I felt like I could feel it shaking off like leaves or snow or something after the Saturn and Pisces leave for the last time.
Yes.
And that freshness of like, what am I capable of now that all of this has happened kind of catches my eye. And then I got this card, Fortune, Nine of Cups, which I was looking at this card yesterday, and the note about this, so the cups are emotion and connection and family. And what's interesting about the Nine of Cups that's different from the Ten of Cups is Ten of Cups, everybody's there. But in the Nine of Cups, there's just one person. It's your private, precious garden. And to think of Pisces having access to that, you can see where you could say, make sure to get out of the garden every now and then. Make sure to go see, your friends, because it is on a trajectory to go to the 10th card, and then you're all together. But there's that notion of, at the same time, savoring that solitude and knowing that you're coming to a place where you belong.
Right. Well,
And
and I'm going to say with that, sorry, before I forget the thought,
mhm,
the solitude piece, Pisces can tend to give it all away.
right.
So because this is the nine, this is about keeping something for yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Especially if you're shaking stuff off, don't make it about giving it all away. Make it about so that getting rid of things so that you can enjoy what's coming to you,
I
right?
love that. I love
Being
that.
a whole and unburdened because that's the word that keeps
Right.
coming to me with
Yeah.
Saturn getting out of Pisces and giving
Yeah.
Pisceans a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
unburdening. Yeah, I loved your imagery because that actually was the thing that kind of brought the word to me. But out of all the cards, it was the Pisces card that was the most like resonant with its own sign. So
Yes.
it's
I
almost
would
like
agree.
that Pisces is coming into itself again after 2.5, 3 years of feeling
That's what
not
I was
feeling too bad.
wondering, is it time to feel this? When I was interrupting earlier, I was just thinking about, we're talking about this loneliness epidemic, right? And cultures that are built on that and all sorts of stuff. And to me, this is the antithesis of that because it is solitude that you love, that's rich and beautiful. And I think I love that it's for Pisces, but I also wonder if it isn't a little bit of a notion for loneliness itself. What I'll say for Pisces is if you feel lonely, look around. Look around for everything shining on you right now, because you may be missing some stuff.
Yeah. Out of all of the things that we looked at for all 12 signs and plus the chart, the themes that struck me were that we're being asked to do things differently than we normally would. Don't
Yes.
don't rely on old patterns. They're not going to serve you anymore.
Mhm.
We're also being asked to be more whole, right?
Mhm.
Not just living in one part of ourselves or one
Yeah.
part of our lives. Yeah, bringing the pieces together. Most of us are being asked to look within.
Yeah.
I would say that that's great advice for everybody,
Yeah.
for sure. And then the other piece is to be adaptable and
Yeah.
to be curious is probably the two things that'll keep you sane with
Yeah.
everything that's shifting and changing in what's coming this year.
And I love everything you said. I would only add that the notion of a process, right? Both us integrating and using different parts of ourselves in a systematic and productive way, and how we engage in processes without. There's a note about we won't know the outcome, which is part of why we're saying it, be adaptable. And then the other part seems to be align with your authenticity and with your authentic values so that you get to go on the right path this year and not one that doesn't mean anything to you because there's going to be challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Challenges and new things are gonna feel new.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad. We're no, I'm not saying we already know bad stuff's happening. I'm not trying
Right.
to hide it from you, but
Right.
also not trying to grind it into your little nose. So, yeah,
And gratitude for what you already
there you
have.
go. There
That
you
was the theme throughout the whole, and that having Saturn or Jupiter sitting at the top of the chart, to me, there's gratitude is a
Yeah,
piece that's
I
dropped in
agree.
through this whole conversation for
I
sure.
agree. Well, this was
Well,
a blast.
so fun. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody who joined us, and
Yeah,
thank
thank
you,
you.
Lillian. It was so
Thank you,
great.
Tracy. I'm so excited to do another year.
Yeah, welcome to
Woo!
2026. Next week, we
Woohoo!
are going to talk about the transits of the year, eclipses, retrogrades, all the things. So, the hot spots in the year that we need to pay attention to. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Mwah.
See you next time.